Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are back for the Premier League Gazette, the place where we look at all the reaction to the weekend's action and of course find out the latest Premier League and Manchester United news with the papers and with a coffee. We've got a couple of the papers and we've got a little bit of a coffee to get through as well. Hope you guys are all doing well after the Premier League returned this weekend. Obviously Manchester United not in action, but we are still in the headlines anyway. And before we were about to record this video, just after I bought the newspapers, we got some breaking news from Spain on Sergio Reguilon as well. So we'll be getting stuck into that before we get stuck into the back pages. But before we go anywhere, do me a little favor, yeah? Hit that subscribe button. Help us hit 100k. We are just under 15,000, I think, away from hitting 100k. We're well and truly on the road to 100k. But without your support, I can't do it. So if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button. And if you can, join AdamMcKola TV as well to help support the channel. But like I said, we're here to get stuck into the news. I have got some updates on Sergio Reguilon coming out of Spain, so let's get stuck into them first before we look at the rest of the Premier League news and these back pages. 1 second. Let's put that there. Right. So, thank you to Sport Witness for this. They say Manchester United, well they don't say, Marca say, Manchester United are closing in on signing. Negotiations reached maximum intensity in recent hours. I love that kind of phrasing when you get the translations from Spanish to English. And the article from the Sport Witness team says, want some good news on Manchester United potentially signing Sergio Reguilon? Well, Marca are providing that on Monday lunchtime. A Spanish newspaper reports that contacts have been intensifying between the parties involved in a move. The article is from their editor, Jose Felix Diaz, and it's stated, negotiations are ongoing with Real Madrid. Reguilon is singled out as Manchester United's first choice for the left-back position, and it's claimed he now approaches Old Trafford. That last bit isn't to be taken literally. He's not in an Uber going up the Chester Road, but they mean he's closing in on a move. Real Madrid are still holding out for a buyback clause. However, Diaz seems to suggest that that is a flexible stance and that the transfer fee will be around 25 million euros, depending on the formula of a deal. Marca's editor reports negotiations for the move have reached maximum intensity in recent hours, and United is considered the perfect destination for Reguilon, both for the player and for the fee Real Madrid can be accepted to receive. Whilst final attempts for a buyback clause are quite possible and mentioned more than once in an article, there's no claim the deal will fail if it isn't something Ed Woodward continues to find appropriate. So this is what we're hearing in relation to Sergio Reguilon coming out of Spain. And this was simply after, over the weekend, we were looking at reports that the move was potentially off because Sergio Reguilon wanted that buyback clause in the deal. Now Real Madrid may be making it quite clear to Sergio Reguilon that he doesn't have a future at the club, and therefore there's no need for that buyback clause, and it might be difficult for him to take because he has a dream of playing for Real Madrid. But you have to bear that kind of situation in mind, that ultimately you are unwanted by them. They have Mendy, they have Marcelo, and if Manchester United are there wanting to bring the player in, it's a big move for him. So it looks like we could be edging closer to this deal, but we're still not there just yet. Then we hear from Fabrizio Romano around the same time saying Man United are considering a move by days but won't pay the 30 million euro price tag. Real Madrid are asking for a buyback clause. Personal terms not an issue. Reguilon wants to join United. Opening bid to be submitted soon, and Sevilla are out of the race. He also says United will not accept a buyback clause in any deal. So it looks like we could be potentially getting over that hurdle in a deal for Sergio Reguilon, and hopefully once we get that one done we can focus on our main target, Jadon Sancho. But I don't think we're going to be talking about him today unless he pops up in these back pages. And let's begin with this one. Obviously the Express, we've got Chaos Reigns and Lewis rules about the cricket and the F1, but the big headline here is lazy, unfit and bad attitude. Jose puts boot into sloppy Spurs after first day flop. They lost 1-0 against Everton. I did say on the PR Weekly, you never know, we could gonna have a lot of away wins over the weekend, and that's exactly how it went down. I thought Southampton might win, they didn't, but the rest of the away wins that are predicted to come through did come through. Everton were one of them, and it was a big win for them. But after the game, Jose Mourinho was quoted as calling his players lazy. But you all know my feelings on Jose Mourinho. I've got to defend him a little bit. His actual quote is not as bad as this headline. Lazy, unfit and bad attitude is not a direct quote from Jose Mourinho. He said, which doesn't sound great, "I do not like my players. The struggle starts in the way we didn't press. Our pressure was very poor. I'd say it was lazy pressure. When you have lazy pressure, they build," let me see, let me find the next page. "They build from the back when you let them play from the back. They are comfortable to have the ball. That is the consequence of bad fitness, bad pre-season." So I think what he was saying was the pressing from his team was not great. It was a lazy press. I don't think he said his players were lazy. I think he also alluded to the fact that they lacked fitness. But something that's, you know, when you see him coming up against Carlo Ancelotti's side and getting outplayed, and it's very early in the season, but when you see that happening, and you know, you have a look at the Amazon Prime documentary and you have a look into the little insight behind the scenes at Spurs, and I know a lot is left out, but Jose is very uninspiring. I think he's very uninspiring for his players. They can come in 1-0 up. He's talking about how they've got to keep a clean sheet, not kill the game. You know, he's saying things like, he doesn't think about the impact of his words, even if that's not necessarily what he means. Having said that, now it's out there that he's used the word lazy, and it doesn't look great. But I got to defend him, because I don't think he meant, "Oh, all my players are lazy." But he also said in that, "I do not like my players." And I just really think he's finished. I really do. And we'll start to see that unravel. Everton with a great result though. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who was in my fantasy Premier League team. One of the few of my strikers that actually did anything decent, because Martial didn't play, Rashford didn't play, Maguire didn't play. I forgot to take them out, but we did see, obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin get a goal, which was good for me in the end. Vardy got off to a flyer as well, and that's what we see here. Loyal Bilic needs quality to serve it up in top flight, and I've predicted West Brom to go down, and I don't think it's changed my opinion on them either. We also seen Fulham get beat as well by Arsenal. I said Fulham will go down, and I haven't checked. I know it's still one game in, but that hasn't changed anything for me. They just haven't got the quality there. They haven't got the intensity there. I think West Brom have actually got a decent manager in Slaven Bilic and some talented players, but Fulham on the other hand, I don't think Scott Parker's good enough. I don't think he's good enough, and we could see a change in manager there very quickly. West Ham are one that I didn't say they would go down. I thought Brighton might go down, but West Ham, dreadful time under David Moyes, and you know, they've got some bad fixtures coming up for them. It's going to be a difficult time. We also see here no backlash from Klopp. Boss cuts sloppy defence some slack after rocky run out. Obviously, I don't know if you watched the kickoff. I was on the kickoff this weekend with Drew Geordie and the boys. Thanks to them for having me. Liverpool beat Leeds 4-3. I was hoping Leeds could have held on for at least a point. I didn't want to see either team win, really. I wanted to see both teams lose, but it would have been nice to see Liverpool drop points on the opening day of the season. That didn't happen. The hunger gains. Arsenal have a real will to win as new signing Leeds from the front. Gabriel scoring a goal and helping Arsenal keep a clean sheet. He put in a good performance, to be fair to him, but it's so hard to, you know, Fulham started without Mitrovic, their best striker. They didn't really pose a threat, so it's hard to really judge anything on that yet. But he made a great start to life, and getting a goal will help him feel comfortable within his job. We got Lampard talking about Jurgen Klopp here, saying it's a bit rich that he's speaking about the money that Lampard has spent when you consider some of the signings that he's made. He goes, I was less annoyed with it. I found it slightly amusing, because when you talk about owners of clubs, I don't think it matters what line of business they come from. We are talking about some very wealthy owners of clubs in the Premier League. With Liverpool's story, I referenced it a lot last year. You can go through the players. Van Dijk, Alisson, Fabinho, Keita, Mane, Salah. Incredible players that come at a very high price. Fair enough, to be honest. And I think you got a... I know, you know, they've got a rich sugar daddy, Chelsea. But they've not spent for 2 years, so I think it was to almost be expected. There's a little bit of a story here, which is literally like, look at this. Imagine this was true. Would it be that small if that was true? Would that be that small if that was true? Jesus Christ. These papers expect us to believe something as big as Mbappe is planning on a move to the Premier League, and they put it that small. Come on, put some work in, lads. Put some work in. Anyway, that's that newspaper done and dusted. Jose Mourinho's boys getting a battering on the back. The NHS getting the love on this one. We open that up to see another headline about Jose Mourinho. Unready, unfit, lazy. Jose puts the boot in as Spurs fall to a humbling defeat against a much improved Everton. We also see red alert Mbappe set to quit PSG. I think he will. I think he'll go to Real Madrid though. But when you consider, you know, City were willing to invest potentially, you know, 200 million in the Messi signing, which would be great. You know, if your club can bring in Messi, by all means do it. But would it not be more sensible to invest that kind of money in someone like Mbappe? Not that I want to give him ideas. And then we've seen Gary Neville saying, Nev, stop victimising Greenwood. Mason Greenwood is being targeted to the point of victimisation, says Gary Neville. The teenage United striker was at the club's training complex yesterday, having been sent home from England duty in disgrace earlier this month. In disgrace. He linked some girls in his hotel room. Come on, man. Video footage emerged of him at the weekend, allegedly inhaling nitrous oxide weeks before his international debut. This pisses me off. This pisses me off. The Sun said it was weeks. These lot are echoing that. It wasn't weeks. He looked skinnier than me. It was fucking 2 years ago, or at least a year and a half. It wasn't weeks ago. And look, you shouldn't be doing it anyway, but come on, man. And Reds legend Neville believes criticism of the 18-year-old has gone over the top. I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Last week I completely accept that's a big story. But at what point do we feel uncomfortable with some things where you feel like someone is being victimised? I totally agree with Gary Neville. I just wish he had that same kind of energy for Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial when he's talking all sorts of nonsense about them. But nevertheless, it's good to hear him defending Mason Greenwood and coming out and saying that. Complacent, don't use that foul language with me. Klopp says Liverpool will not complacent against Leeds, conceding 3 goals at home against a newly promoted team. But it's hard to see because obviously Bielsa's a very good coach, and it could just be that. It's the start of the season. It's a weird pre-season. No one's going to really be fit yet. It's hard to judge where teams are at. So, you know, it's 1 game into the season. Let's wait and see. But I hope that's a sign of things to come, and Liverpool to be conceding goals throughout the campaign, because that would be great for all of us, wouldn't it? That would be great for all of us. So, fingers crossed on that one. What else is going on in this newspaper? Not a lot, to be totally honest with you. Looks like it's going to be a long VARD season for WPA, it says it here. See what happens when you flash the cash, says Bruce. Praises Toon owner for new signings after win. Big win for Stevie Bruce on the opening day of the season. Didn't need that blood money. He's going to win the league with 4-4-2. And Andy Carroll and Callum Wilson, isn't he? What a guy. Stevie Bruce is. But a big win for him. A big win for Palace as well. Is Wilfred Zaha going to leave or not? Who knows what's going to happen with that one. And we've got a story on United in here, which we'll finish with, seeing as we're here on AdamMcKola TV. Neville say die. United legends Gary and Ryan are convinced that United will lift the title again, but perhaps when Pep and Klopp have called it a day. I ain't waiting for that, bro. I don't want to wait for that. I ain't reading that. Unless they're leaving soon. That could be a long, nah, we need to do it ASAP. ASAP. And who knows? Maybe this season. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, keeping it locked to AdamMcKola TV. This has been the Premier League Gazette. Remember, we have the Premier League Weekly every Friday where we have fancy Premier League updates. And let's have a look at my fancy Premier League team briefly right now. I'll put the league code on there as well if you want to join. I got 23 points this week. It was a bad week for me. I got helped and saved by the fact that Walker-Peters' red card was overturned, but Walker-Peters and Gomez only got 1 point. Son got 2, Aubameyang got a goal, Calvert-Lewin got a goal, and Kane got 2 points, but because he's my captain, that doubled up. So probably should have made Aubameyang my captain considering the difficulty of the games. And I forgot to change Rashford, Martial and Maguire before, so I have not had the greatest of starts in the league at all. Oh my god, it's been dreadful. I am currently 114th in the league. But yeah, guys, there's the code for you on the screen. Make sure you're keeping it locked, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. The link is in the description for the Fantasy League as well. We'll be back on Friday with the PL Weekly, but of course, daily content on AdamMcKola TV, United Daily Live every single evening. And of course, loads more stuff as well. Get your thoughts in the comments below on everything we've discussed. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.